everyone, Stephanie here. First off, I just want to apologize. I have been, first of all, my dad passed away in August, and I unexpectedly had to travel to Iceland to make it there before he passed away, which I did. He was on vacation there. And then I've had kind of trouble adjusting and getting caught up with everything. So I'm a bit behind on everything, so I feel like I've neglected not only my template, but also the Building Books group. But I'm going to try to start posting weekly videos again, and I am finally getting the template, posting it on my website for purchase. So if you did not have the opportunity to download it when I offered it for free through the group, and want to purchase it, it's going to be $50, but to the group I will be having a coupon code for $25 off, so you'll be able to get the template for $25. I highly recommend this template because a lot of the questions that I see some people asking in the group can definitely, this template will definitely help. Now, it may look simple off the bat, but in actuality, there's a lot to this template. When you get it, there is actually, if you look at the pages panel, there's actually only 6 total pages, but there are a ton of paragraph styles built in, as well as a ton of master pages. So this video is going to be about master pages, period. So if you don't use my template, maybe you have built your own, from what I'm seeing, a lot of the questions, you may not use master templates, you may not know what the purpose they serve, you may not just be familiar with them. So this video is going to go over everything of master pages, okay? So what are master pages? Well, to get to master pages, we go to our pages panel, and if you don't have a pages panel on your workspace, what you need to do is go to Window and Pages, and the shortcut code for that is F12. And so that brings up this pages panel. I'm going to ungroup it from my main page just so we can see it. So this is the pages panel. It's 2 parts. The top part, these are all our master pages, and this is the template I have for sale. So these are all the master pages I have set up in the template. And then these are the actual pages of the document. All right. So it's 2 parts. Your document pages are going to be here. To go to that particular page, you just double click on it. And then the master pages, what they are they are basically templates for each individual page throughout your document. All right, I'm gonna bank this back to where it was, and so I can show you the full screen. All right, so this is the A master, which is called A header of the template, and it's just a basic spread of what the majority of a book would be. All right, so I'm going to show you some examples. If we look at this particular document, you'll see that these letters correspond to what master page that particular page has. So this one has F, C, F, C, F, 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 C, B, A, 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 A. And if you look through the document, most of these are going to be AAs. So an A header page is basically a normal 2-page spread that has text frames, it has the page numbers, and it has our header up here, okay? Most of your books are going to be set to this master. So why have this master? All right, why utilize a header master? Well, it's because we can have our book titles, our author names, and everything at the top. So it's on the master. It gets automatically assigned to all those individual pages that that you assign that master to. And then we could have the page numbers on it. Although on this particular master, we cannot select these page numbers, which I'll talk about in just a minute. And then you have your text frames. Okay. So what in our template, we have some text variables set up with author name, book title, chapter title, and the tradition is that you're going to have the author name on the right hand side with your book title on the right hand side, on the left hand, author name on the left hand side and book title on the right hand side. If this is a nonfiction book, then you will have a book title on the left hand side with your chapter title on the right. So to customize this template for that particular book, you'll want to delete whatever text variable is relevant. Okay, so for this particular one, I would do author name, book title. Let's say it was a novel. And what happens is when we go to page 1 of our book, and we're just going to call it sample book, sample series by sample author. When we input that information, that's going to auto-populate on any pages that we have assigned as the A. So let's say we're going to fill this particular text frame with placeholder text, and then we're going to assign these 3 pages that currently have the B master page. We're going to assign the A header master page and click on OK. And that is going to put that sample author, sample book that we typed in here on our master, on our title page. It also input that same information on our copyright page. So these are text variables based on the content that's here. And that content is based on the paragraph style. All right, so I set text variables up based on the paragraph style. So sample book, sample series, and then sample author are all right here, as well as the headers on our on our header pages. Now, why have a separate page? Well, because this is our chapter title page. Chapter 1, we're just going to say this is our chapter title. We're going to say this is our first pair drop cap. This is, if we look at our pages panel, this is a B master. All right. So what does a B master look like? And B master, we'll look up here. It's B chapter title. So any chapter title pages should get assigned this. So what makes this different from the A master? Well, one, it starts lower on a page. Chapters should naturally start lower on the page because it's a pause point for readers. It lets readers know that they can take a break, they can dog ear it, they can put their bookmark in. You know, this is kind of a start of a new little part of the book. So that space up top gives them a reprieve. So that's why chapter titles start lower on a page traditionally. And when we have a chapter title page, it does not, absolutely in no circumstance should it have the page header, which is the author name and chapter book title. It should not. This is a common mistake that people make as formatters, as well as indie authors who are trying to format their own books. And I will look at some of the look-insides on Amazon and I see this and I just absolutely cringe. It's book formatting 101. Book titles, I mean your headers for author name and book titles should not go on your chapter title pages. Okay, so that's why we have a separate page for chapter titles. All right, so it still has the book title, the page number down at the bottom, but again, we can't select it, which I'll tell you why in a minute, but it has the same text frame. So this is what the B master is used for those chapter title pages. Then we have the A master. All right, so we already talked about the B master page. Let's talk about the C master page. This is a blank, okay? This is if you have any pages that need a blank, okay? If you have blank pages in your document, they should not have anything on them at all. Maybe some artwork if that's the style that you're going for, but they should not have any page numbers, any page headers, anything. Completely blank. So that's why we have the C master, which is a blank master. No page numbers. It has text frames just in case you need them for something, but for the most part, you're not going to have anything in there. The next master page is actually one that I never assign anything to, only because it's the master page that we set up our page numbers. All right, so when we went to the A master and the B master, we could not select the page numbers down at the bottom. Why is that? If we look at our pages, you'll notice that it has D on them. So all of these master pages that have D on them start with D as their base, which is our page numbers, all right? So that allows me to make sure every page has the page numbers in the same position, because I only have one place that I need to change it to, all right? So the next master page is called E-Title, No Ornament. It has page numbers at the bottom. This is for things in your back matter, like acknowledgments about the author, anything where you still want the pages to be numbered, but you don't want any artwork, like you may have some sort of graphic on the chapter title pages, but you don't want that artwork on those back matter or front matter pages, all right? Then the F title, no ornament, also starts lower just like E and just like B, but it doesn't have any page numbers. This is a perfect example for like a dedication where you don't want the pages to be numbered. And I'll show you some examples of that in just a minute. And then lastly, we have a G header for other titles. If you are doing novels, chances are you're not going to ever use this. This really is for nonfiction books that maybe has an appendix, and we need our headers, our chapter, instead of pulling chapter titles, it needs to pull up other titles, okay? All right, so that's just a quick overview of all of the master pages. Now, when you are doing book design, you definitely should use master pages, and this is how I'm going to show you how we are going to use them. So in this particular book, if we follow it, this is a half title page. I have the F master assigned to it, so it starts lower on a page and there's no page number. This is a blank page, so this gets C, and this is an F page again, because it has no page numbers and I want it to start lower on a page. And then this is our copyright page, and it's a C, but the special thing about this particular copyright page is I have a text frame option of vertical justification set to align bottom that allows the copyright page to be flush to the bottom of the page, which is my preference. Here is our also by the author. It gets an F title page, F master page, so it starts lower on a page and doesn't have a page number. This is a C. It says F, but F is totally blank too. Normally I would make this a C. This is a dedication. It gets lower on a page and no page number, so it gets assigned F. This should be a C, but it's an F because it's completely blank. And then here is our author's note. It gets an F. It's lower on the page with no page number. And then here is where our book actually starts. For this book, we actually have two chapter title pages. We have B and B1. I have this one called B chapter title and then B1 chapter title Ollie. And the reason is this is a two character POV book. So we rotate between Maggie and Ollie, and Maggie is the princess and then Ollie is a drummer. So we wanted two different types of graphics for them, and therefore I place all my graphics on the master page, so I don't have to place it on every single page. So if we look at our chapter title, the first one, you'll see that we have a crown. Now, this particular book, this particular author prefers to have all her chapters start on a right-hand side. But if she wanted books to be either left or right, I would have the crown on both sides. But since we never start a chapter title on the right-hand side for her books, I only put it on the one side. So all of Maggie's chapters get the crown. So here's our crown, because it's a Maggie chapter. Here's our crown, Maggie chapter. And then we get into Ollie, and Ollie's are different in that we have the drumsticks, all right? Again, here is our B1 chapter title page for Ollie. So all Ollie's chapter title pages get assigned this particular master, all right? So that's how you can use chapter title pages. Here is the same book, but this is a hardcover version. And we basically did the same thing. We had two chapter pages, title pages set up for Maggie. One chapter title page set up for Maggie and one chapter title page set up for Ollie. Now, the great thing about master pages, if you have a lot of different chapters title pages that you're trying to create, master pages are a great way to do that. Let me see if I can pull up a sample of one book where I had a million. Of course, I wouldn't want you to understand my thinking here, but for this particular book, we had several different characters, all right? So we had, and they all had different backgrounds. So we had set up for different characters. Some had headers on the left-hand side, some did not, so they all served different purposes. So utilizing master pages are very essential and can really save you a lot of time if you set them up properly.